Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to possess an almost otherworldly mastery over their surroundings without uttering a single word? They refrain from shouting, they don't plead, they simply pull away, and suddenly everything shifts. The atmosphere alters. Individuals begin to question, to pursue, to feel. Now envision yourself doing the same. If you ceased to react instantly to everything, if you opted for silence instead of immediate response, retreat in place of eruption, what do you believe would transpire? That is precisely the point. When you cease to be perpetually available emotionally, physically, and psychologically, the world around you plunges into turmoil because people have become accustomed to controlling you through your reactions, impulses, and predictability. Yet the day you decide to withdraw, the entire game transforms. Those who presumed they knew you discover they know absolutely nothing about you. Carl Jung remarked, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves." Reflect on this. When you become unreachable, who genuinely becomes desperate? Who gets frustrated? Who tries to provoke merely to evoke a reaction? This reveals more about the other person than about you. Primarily, it exposes how extensively you are still being manipulated without awareness. You continually give in to please, to maintain peace, to avoid losing those who, deep down, were never truly with you. With every forced yes, every immediate reply, every emotional outburst, you surrender a portion of your energy. And ultimately, what remains? Fatigue, frustration, a void you cannot comprehend. But I will tell you why. It is because you are overly accessible to those who do not deserve even a moment of your silence. This message is not about turning your back on the world. It is about choosing yourself. It is about learning what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming whole, authentic, complete. This journey begins when you realize that silence can wield more power than 1,000 arguments. That withdrawal, when rooted in awareness rather than escape, constitutes an act of strength. So I ask you now, gazing into your eyes, how much longer will you allow yourself to be controlled by the emotions of others? How long will you continue reacting like a puppet each time someone presses your wound? Perhaps it is time to sever those strings, to pull away, to become enigmatic. Because when you cease being available, everything changes. From childhood, you have been taught to always be present, to respond swiftly, to please, to say yes, even when you wanted to say no. But here is a truth, perhaps no one has conveyed to you with such clarity. This excessive availability is not a virtue. It is a prison. And as long as you persist in thinking you need to be accessible constantly, emotionally or otherwise, you will be manipulated, drained, and forgotten as soon as you cease to be useful. Do you understand why? Because being perpetually available renders you predictable. And all that is predictable becomes a tool. People begin to use you as an emotional emergency button. They press it when they seek attention, relief, validation, then discard you. Yet you fail to realize this as you are caught in the illusion that being there for everyone ensures someone will be there for you. But it does not operate that way. Carl Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted, loved, recognized. And it is precisely this mask that perpetuates your over-availability. You say it is fine when you are suffocating. You respond immediately to messages despite exhaustion. You explain, justify, defend yourself as though you owe the world something. But the truth is, the more you place yourself on others' stages, the more you vanish from your own. Being available constantly is a subtle form of self-abandonment. It is a disguised pursuit of approval, a fear of rejection, an attempt to control the image others hold of you. Yet this control demands a price. That price is your peace. Your vital energy is distributed as though infinite, whereas it is limited, extremely limited. Those who desire your constant availability in truth do not want you. They want what you provide: validation, companionship, distraction, emotional comfort. When you transform, when you set boundaries, when you refuse to react, those same people grow irritated, accuse you, brand you as unusual. It isn't because you changed, it is because you ceased to be functional for them. And here lies the cruelest truth. The more available you are, the lesser your worth appears to others. For abundance turns into emotional waste. No one respects what does not need earning. No one cherishes what is always present. So now pause and contemplate. Who genuinely merits your time? Who merits your attention, your presence, your listening? Or better yet, who merits your absence? But before answering, grasp one essential fact. Why do we react so readily? Why do we surrender so easily? What fuels this near-automatic compulsion to respond, justify, and please? The answer rests in what Carl Jung termed psychic energy, and that is what we will explore next. Because your energy is all you possess, and if you do not guard it, someone will wield it against you. If this resonates, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Carl Jung did not perceive the human psyche as an automatic machine reacting without consequence. To him, our mind is an energy system, with each thought, feeling, and act consuming part of that energy. The question is, do you decide where your energy flows, or do you permit the world to dictate it? Every impulsive response wastes psychic energy. Defending yourself against baseless criticism, engaging in provocations to prove your point, indulging in futile debates, striving to please those who have no regard for you. All squander your inner strength on that which does not nourish you. Jung was unequivocal: what you resist persists. The more you react, the more you bind yourself. Emotionally depleted people are not feeble, they are misdirected. And what happens to one who lives drained? They become vulnerable. Vulnerability attracts manipulation by opportunists, and the emotionally needy who sense your inability to guard your energy, your incessant reactions, and your urge to fix everything, exploiting you. Jung asserted a healthy psyche retains energy within its system. This entails saying no without guilt, remaining silent without cowardice, observing before acting. Real power is not in reaction, but in choosing when and how to act. This becomes possible when you recognize your impulses. How many sleepless nights have unresolved conflicts robbed from you? How often have you revisited painful exchanges for hours? This is energy lost without return. You kindle ghosts that should have perished long ago and nurture toxic patterns by insisting on responding. Psychic energy is a force field. When preserved, it breeds presence. You enter a room commanding respect without a word. When neglected, you become invisible, reactive, fragile, and the world shows no mercy to the easily swayed. Hence, start observing your own triggers. What instigates your automatic reactions? Where does your center falter? These are the points where your energy leaks and where your efforts must focus. Not to become cold or indifferent, but to become selective, sovereign over yourself. One of Jung's profound insights is that conserving your energy disrupts projections people cast upon you. This deeply unsettles many because it unveils silent manipulation. Next, we will discuss how opportunists feed on your energy and how your unavailability disrupts their play. Prepare to confront those who depleted you without your awareness. You believe you govern yourself, that your emotions are deliberate choices. Yet the truth is darker. Most reactions are programmed. Those who understand this manipulate you effortlessly. Opportunistic individuals need not raise voices or threaten. They merely trigger your exposed buttons, eliciting your predictable reaction. Jung called this psychological projection, the mechanism through which individuals project their unseen traits onto others. An overlooked aspect is that while others project onto you, you too become a canvas for these images. The more emotionally accessible you are, the more you become blank slate for projection. Recall that friend who contacts you only in crises, that partner who always needs your rescue, those who flatter you only when useful. None is accidental. They relate not to you, but to the role you consent to play. Why comply? Fear of disappointing, rejection, abandonment. The most potent manipulation is silent guilt, the sentiment that you owe availability, help, understanding, even at your expense. The core: manipulators do not need control, they need your repeated reaction. But when you stop responding, the cycle breaks. Saying no, using silence, withdrawing, projections collapse, masks fall. This unsettles others as they confront themselves. Unprepared for that, your unavailability threatens because it forces others to face their emptiness. Your offered silence exposes their internal tumult they avoid. Then comes attack, criticism, drama. Not due to your fault, but because you ceased to serve as a convenient mirror. Jung advised, we do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. When you withdraw, when you break the cycle, the shadows of others emerge, unbearable for those using you as escape. Are you ready to face misunderstanding, rejection, attacks for self-protection? Ready to endure the silence following rupture? It is precisely in that silence that a new power arises. That power we shall examine now. Next, we will explore why silence is the most devastating weapon of the psyche and how it transforms your world. The modern world is noisy. Everyone desires to be heard, to respond promptly, to win pointless disputes, even at the cost of peace. Yet few recognize, fewer master the power of silence. Not the silence of passivity or fear, but deliberate, strategic, lucid silence. Silence as amplified presence. Jung viewed silence as fertile ground for transformation, not void. Ceasing reaction invites observation and clarity, unveiling emotional repetitions, manipulations, cycles of self-destruction. Silence breeds lucidity, dangerous for controllers. Have you noticed people losing composure when you do not respond? When you vanish without explanation? It is not longing, but loss of narrative control. While speaking, you remain in the game. In silence, you change the rules and unbalance those thriving on your reaction. True silence is mastery over energy, refusal to be dragged into battles unworthy of your effort. Jung said individuation, the becoming oneself, necessitates distancing, for only in silence can you hear yourself devoid of worldly noise. Yet silence exacts a price. Alienation from those who valued only the role you filled. You seem cold, distant, arrogant. But such reactions are from those unwilling to confront your depth, only your usefulness. The harsher you grow, the more selective with words. For every utterance is an energetic investment. Not all deserve access. Sometimes silence is sovereignty. The speech of those needing prove nothing. Silence discomforts others by forcing them to face their inner chaos. You owe no excuses. Your absence explains itself. Threatened foes reveal their dependence upon your imbalance to maintain control. The most potent silence rebuilds you internally, reconnects you to what transcends approval. This is where we head next, to reclaim energy, guard it from waste, and choose wisely. If you are reclaiming energy and boundaries, My book, Beyond the Shadow, can aid with tools to protect yourself and reconnect with truth. Awareness without action is self-deception. Transformation requires resolve and discipline. Conscious unavailability is not coldness or arrogance. It is exercising authority over energy, time, peace, starting small, delayed replies, breathing before reaction, avoiding chaos, saying no guilt-free. Most importantly, you owe no justification. This revokes others' power to trap you emotionally. Jung said individuation involves isolation, but sacred, restorative isolation to rediscover your voice and rebuild selfhood. Gauge growth by who distances, provokes, or accuses as you guard boundaries. These signify liberation, not failure. Unavailability breeds discomfort. Guilt, accusations arise, but this is expected dismantling of conditioned self-neglect. Saying no to the world means yes to yourself. Withdrawing from toxicity values peace over false connection. Respect grows, even if limited. Not all are ready for this presence. Your absence exposes wounds others avoid, dependence on your chaos for control, triggering rupture, pain, isolation. Yet this is freedom. What follows? Rebirth, born of courage to be misunderstood, alone, whole. Silence first stings like a scream within, questions of doubt, loss, but then evolves into cleansing, healing. Solitude emerges, not void, but full self-presence. Where confusion reigned enters clarity, where anxiety dwelt enters peace, where neediness lingered enters new strength. Jung taught becoming oneself requires stepping away from collective masks to walk alone, a path you now tread. You transform from reactor into creator. Those uncomfortable with absence reveal desire only for roles, not you, liberating. Loss of people balanced by rediscovery of self. Distance from places balanced by reconnection with essence. Misunderstanding offset by respect. No longer available for crumbs, games, or false affection. You accept only what resonates with peace and truth. If you have reached this point, a part of you is ready to embark. The part that understands love starts with self-choice, even if alone. Share in comments. Are you prepared to be misunderstood, rejected, or hated for inner freedom? Are you willing to bear the cost of embracing your true self? Keep watching the series. The next chapter is essential. See you there.